Welcome to week 2 of reading I'm Not an Artist by Giovanni Aloi. Here are my thoughts on chapter 2, The Modern Artist, a Rebel Without a Cause. The category of modern art spans many genres and mediums. The unifying theme is that these works were produced between 1850 and 1960 and explored the realities created by industrialization. The website, The Art Story, defines this movement as follows. Quote, modern art is characterized by the artist's intent to portray a subject as it exists in the world, according to his or her unique perspective, and is typified by a rejection of accepted or traditional styles and values. Unquote. The rise of modern art overlapped with the Victorian era, characterized by the rule of Queen Victoria from 1837 to 1901. This period saw the expansion of colonial rule by the British Empire. As technology changed rapidly, Britain gained resources and then kept reaching for more. This new prosperity did not trickle down, though. The majority of citizens in Britain were still living in poverty. Homelessness, disease, and starvation were all major social issues of the time that artists sought to represent in order to create changes. According to an article by Chloe Ward on the website Art UK, quote, Victorian artists played an important role in this process. Many artists believed that art's purpose was to contribute to the general good and to improve life. They responded to their social concerns of their day by using their positions as public figures to write articles in political journals, donate their artworks to charity auctions, design banners or posters for social movements, or paint scenes that address the country's most pressing problems. Unquote. Rather than abide by the customs of classical oil painting that sought to show the essence rather than the reality of its subject matter, this new wave of painters portrayed a stark realism in their work. The invention of photography added fuel to this movement, as actual snapshots of the world changed the perspective of artists who had previously been tasked with conveying what was real. Photography, paired with the social issues caused by the Industrial Revolution, led to major changes in the art world. In his book, I'm Not an Artist, Giovanni Aloi set aside chapter 2 as an explanation of modernism. He states that, quote, Romanticism was the cultural response to the Industrial Revolution and its relentless rationalization and commodification of life. It was an antidote to the unprecedented ecological and cultural degradation, a way to nurture the spirit in the face of radical change and relentless alienation. Unquote. The Romantic art movement was pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable in the art world at the time. The avant-garde was foraged, perhaps surprisingly to the contemporary art viewer, by Gustave Courbet's larger-than-life painting of a layman's funeral. Giovanni Aloi explains that, quote, Courbet deliberately chose a massive canvas to challenge tradition. Although it might seem laughable in comparison to the outrage generated by contemporary art today, this subversive act was highly political, and it paved the way for more artistic rebelliousness to come. Aloi 40. Unquote. Prior to this time period, most art was created by commission for rich patrons. As modern art took off, it forged new pathways for making and selling art. Aloi describes the way one famous female artist was punished for daring to defy tradition. Quote, a contemporary of Courbet was Rosa Bonheur, the most successful and one of the richest artists of the 19th century, who, unlike Courbet, was willingly forgotten by art historians and erased from the art history book for over a century. Bonheur was punished for being a woman artist, but also for painting pictures of animals, a popular subject that academies and elite critics associated with the lowest ranks of art genres, a deadly cocktail at the time. Aloi 43. Unquote. Bonheur had a special permit that allowed her to wear pants in public, which was illegal for most women of the time in France, and she lived openly as a lesbian. Her rise to artistic fame happened when her painting titled The Horse Fair was sold to an American businessman for what would account for $2 million in value today. When this painting was donated to the Metropolitan Museum of Art shortly after its purchase, her fame spread. Despite her popularity in her time period, her name did not make it into the art canon until more recently, as Aloi states, quote, over 100 years of erasure have severely impacted Bonheur's influence. How different would art history be if her unconformist, queer, and extremely successful role model has been allowed to inspire a slew of new artists? Aloi 44, unquote. A story as old as time, the omission of women from history. For in the telling of stories there is power. Without portrayal in these stories, power is taken out of our grasp. Ursula K. Le Guin is quoted as saying, quote, storytelling is a tool for knowing who we are and what we want to. If we never find our experience described in poetry or stories, we assume that our experience is insignificant. Unquote. It is important that when we look back on history, we search for the cracks, for the things left unwritten. Every person generates meaning, and nobody should feel their experience of the world is insignificant. Keep creating, keep transforming the world around you. Reweaving the narrative is just one of many ways we can ensure a better future.